Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Ever stared up at the sky and wondered, what if, just for a moment, everything changed? Today, we're diving into one of the wildest thought experiments imaginable. What if gravity, the force that keeps our feet on the ground and our world together, just turned off for 1 minute? It sounds like a fun, weightless fantasy, right? But trust me, the reality would be far more chaotic, fascinating, and utterly mind-blowing than you might think. Get ready to have your understanding of physics, and quite frankly, your entire world turned on its head. Let's buckle up, or rather, unbuckle, and explore this incredible scenario for the next 10 minutes. Alright, so picture this. The clock strikes noon, and suddenly, the invisible tether holding everything down just vanishes. The very first second would be absolutely disorienting. If you're standing, you'd instantly lose your footing and find yourself drifting upwards. Imagine the sheer surprise, the collective gasp around the globe. People would go from walking to floating in an instant, but it wouldn't be a gentle ascent. Because Earth is rotating at about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, anything no longer held down by gravity would instantly be flung tangentially into the atmosphere. So it's not just floating up, it's also being hurled sideways. Think of it like being on a merry-go-round that suddenly loses its floor. You'd be launched off. If you were inside a building, you'd hit the ceiling almost immediately. If you were outside, well, let's just say you'd gain some serious altitude. And it wouldn't just be us humans. Everything not bolted down would join the aerial ballet. Cars, streetlights, loose trash, even small animals would become airborne. Imagine entire cityscapes suddenly sprouting into the sky. A surreal, slow-motion explosion of urban debris. It would be a spectacle of unparalleled proportions. A terrifying yet mesmerizing dance of countless objects against the blue. Now, let's talk about the big stuff. The oceans. This is where things get truly catastrophic. Our oceans are massive bodies of water, and without gravity, they wouldn't just float. They'd lose their cohesive shape. The entire water column, from the surface to the deepest trenches, would be free. It would no longer be held in place by Earth's gravitational pull. Instead of staying in their basins, the oceans would begin to rise and bulge outwards, forming enormous spherical blobs of water drifting into space. Imagine billions of tons of water lifting off the Earth's surface. Coastal cities, already dealing with airborne cars and people, would then face a colossal wall of water lifting upwards, leaving behind dry, exposed seabeds. The sheer scale of this would be beyond comprehension. Marine life, accustomed to the pressure and confines of the deep, would suddenly be free-falling, exposed to the vacuum of space, or simply ejected from their watery homes. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? And what about the atmosphere? Our atmosphere is held around the Earth by gravity. Without it, the gases that make up our air would also begin to dissipate into space. It wouldn't happen instantly, but over that 1 minute, the breathable air around us would start to thin out, rising and expanding. It would be like being slowly exposed to a high-altitude environment, but far more rapid and severe. This rapid loss of atmospheric pressure would have devastating consequences. Our bodies are accustomed to a certain atmospheric pressure. A sudden drop can cause serious problems, including decompression sickness, similar to what deep-sea divers experience when they ascend too quickly. Our lungs would expand, our eardrums might burst, and the air around us, crucial for life, would become increasingly scarce. It would be a terrifying race against time just to get a breath. Even the Earth itself, a giant spinning rock, relies on gravity to hold it together. While a minute isn't enough time for the planet to completely disintegrate, the lack of gravitational pull would have profound effects. Tectonic plates, usually held firmly in place, might shift more easily. Magma, usually contained beneath the surface, could experience unusual pressures. While the solid core wouldn't suddenly fly apart, the surface stability would be compromised. Imagine the chaos inside our homes. Every loose object, from your coffee cup to your furniture, would become a projectile. If you weren't secured, you'd be bouncing off the ceiling and walls. Cooking would be impossible. Drinking a glass of water would be a zero-gravity challenge. and simply staying put would require superhuman effort. Forget about walking or running. Movement would be all about pushing off surfaces and hoping for the best. Infrastructure would also take a massive hit. Power lines, communication cables, bridges, and even some buildings are not designed to withstand an upward pull. Without gravity, the structural integrity of many constructions would be severely tested. Buildings could buckle, and vital connections that crisscross our planet would snap, plunging vast regions into darkness and silence. It would be a global blackout of monumental proportions, affecting everything from internet access to emergency services. Now, for the really big question. What happens when gravity switches back on after exactly 1 minute? This is perhaps the most destructive part of our thought experiment. Everything that drifted upwards, everything that was flung outwards, everything that expanded and dissipated, would suddenly be pulled back down with immense force. Objects that rose a few meters might just cause bumps and bruises upon impact. But imagine the sheer devastation as entire oceans, now massive, distorted blobs of water in space, suddenly come crashing back down onto the Earth's surface. It would be a global tsunami event of biblical proportions, far worse than any earthquake or meteor strike. These colossal waves would obliterate everything in their path, reshaping continents in an instant. And all the people, cars, buildings, and debris that were floating miles above the Earth. They would plummet back to the ground at terminal velocity. It would be like a reverse rain of destruction, a global catastrophe where everything comes crashing down simultaneously. Cities would be flattened, landscapes scarred, and life as we know it would be irrevocably altered, if not entirely extinguished. The sheer kinetic energy released by billions of objects falling from the sky would be unimaginable. So, while the idea of floating weightlessly for a minute sounds fun on paper, the reality would be a nightmare of epic proportions. It's a stark reminder of just how crucial gravity is, not just for keeping our feet on the ground, but for maintaining the very structure and stability of our planet and everything on it. It's the silent, constant guardian that allows life to thrive. This thought experiment truly highlights the delicate balance of our universe and how even a momentary disruption of a fundamental force can unleash unimaginable chaos. It makes you appreciate the simple fact that gravity is always there, quietly doing its job, holding our world together. What did you think of this wild ride? Let me know in the comments below. What surprised you the most about this scenario? If you enjoyed this mind-bending exploration, please give this video a big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating what-if scenarios and scientific deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.